Okay, if you all don't mind, I would hear all these petitions together since they all involve Ms. Harris as a respondent. And then I will decide them separately. So the decision on one won't necessarily control the decision on the others. But I think just because you're all sort of here together, it might make sense if I just hear it all together rather than separate it into three cases. Is that okay with you?
Yes,
Your Honor.
Okay. All right, then. I think you may have heard what I said about how the procedure will work in the earlier case that was just heard. So I'm going to have each of you, all the petitioners and Ms. Harris, raise your right hands, please. And do each of you swear the testimony that you give in this case will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. And I will nominate Ms. Rogers to go first.
Okay, want this protection order because I'm tired of our neighbor Christian screaming at me over the fence, cussing at me, profanity, the awful language, and it happens all the time. I can't go out in my backyard and enjoy the backyard area anymore. It's gotten to the point where I dread coming home from work because when I come home from work, she says something to me when I get out of my car. It's just really out of hand, and that's why I want the protection order. That's all.
I do have a follow-up question based on your petition, because one of the things you said in there, I'll just read it to you to refresh your memory here. You said, because Kristen will not stop screaming over the fence at me when I get home from work, calling me foul words and threatening me. Can you tell me what it is that Ms. Harris did or said that you believe means that she's threatening you?
She said at one point, you got a job now, right? You're not going to have one for long. And also she said, why don't you come over the fence and I'll deal with you, that type of thing.
Yeah. Okay. All right. And Ms. Rogers, is there anything else that you think I need to know before I hear from Ms. Warren and Ms. Bear?
No, that's it.
Okay. All right. Then how about Ms. Warren? Why don't you go ahead then?
I just want her to stop yelling cuss words, calling us names. The people that come to visit, she yells at them, calling them names. She has gone out into the street to our neighbors and spreading horrible words about us. I just want it to stop.
Okay.
The flash drive that has her words on it just says it all.
Okay, so you had asked the court specifically to listen to the recordings that you submitted.
Yes, please.
Okay. All right, and then Ms. Bear.
Yes, Your Honor. I like Brett and Rosemary. She's been hollering profanities at me for a long time. She's approached me while I was taking care of someone's yard here. She grabbed me by the arms, was going to push me down, threatened to beat me up. I have a statement in the paperwork of the gentleman who witnessed that, and Rosemary witnessed it. I've asked her to stop. I've been nice about it. I ignore her as best I can. But she attacks me verbally every time I come over to see Rosemary, or I go to visit somebody else here in the park. She's approached other residents here, telling them that I'm responsible for killing her mother, and God rest her soul. Her mother was a beautiful woman. But And she put that kind of stuff on Facebook also. Those were the screenshots, accusing me of wanting to get into her mom's house. I can't do this anymore. No, I just want her to be quiet, to leave me alone. That's all I'm asking is for her to keep her mouth shut and leave me alone. I'm sorry, but that's it.
Right. And then do you need me to know anything else before I hear from Miss Harris?
I don't think so. I
Okay.
mean, yeah, I don't think
All
so.
right. Then I will hear from you, Miss Harris.
Good morning, Your Honor. I don't even know where to start. If anybody had an opportunity to view my response, they did come this morning.
You cut out there
Oh.
real, can you just repeat that? I didn't hear it.
I don't know if you've had the opportunity to review my response. It did come very late. We had
No.
we've had some computer issues, but it's there. It's been filed. I've got receipt of that. There is a police report. Exhibit, I'm not sure. I want to say it might be, I believe it's Exhibit A. And that is where you will learn that when my mother called to request a welfare check, or excuse me, when Terry Bear called to request a welfare check on my mother, Terry Bear lied to them and claimed that she was the only person that could be contacted. She basically said that my youngest brother was like a homeless, violent drug addict. And when they asked her who had the keys, who's a family member, she omitted the existence of my brother and I. She knew that both of us had keys. She attempted to either control the flow of information. I don't know if she felt important, but don't even listen to my testimony, of which I've got a ton. Just read what that police report says. They know exactly why I am mad. Terry Bear does not live here. And women who are accused of neglecting seniors should never, ever be allowed in a senior park with other vulnerable seniors. I have evidence that between her and Jana Worthen, a name that doesn't get mentioned, strategically, names are not present in their filing. They are attempting to mislead this court. They are attempting to malign me and my character when the truth is that what Terry did was evil. It was criminal. All you have to do is review my evidence. All you have to do is review my testimony. Rosemary Warren has peddled methamphetamine, or at least enjoyed a lot of it, for the last 15 years. We have had no peace. We keep to ourselves. We don't cause any problems, but we knew what was going on because my mother was a methamphetamine addict too. Not only are you going to find that police report that is quite damning, you're going to find the huge amount of methamphetamine that I found just beyond where my mother's body was. I can't even tell you. Then she Facebook messages my adult daughter and insinuates that my little brother beat and murdered or did something to my mother. There's that, Then she ends up posting it on Facebook before my family even knows. I have all of the evidence. I have the text where I say, if you're going to defend Jana Worthen, and if you're going to participate in the neglect of my mother, almost 1 year ago, I found my mother almost dead, covered in her own feces with Jana high as a kite. Initially, Terry said, "Oh my God, that's horrible. If she did that to my mother, I'd have killed her," right? Till about 48 hours later, when Terry got the itch, and suddenly Terry got amnesia. She literally pretended like we had never had this conversation. Then Terry started to call my mother endlessly, attempting to get the house keys and their privileges back. I've got concerns because Rosemary's boyfriend, which is really why we are all sitting here, has 6 sexual assault protection orders against him. I don't know if it's 6 separate. I don't know. You know what I mean? I'm not going to pay the money to look. Maybe it's all a coincidence, but it sure does not look good. I'm not trying to be, I don't know what I'm trying to be. I can't put into words the absolute hell that these women, they have shattered our peace. The neighbor across the street had to rig an elaborate security system with lights that could blind somebody from 5 miles away because her traffic spiked and had become so blatant at that time. If you'd like to, you can hear from him directly. Rosemary continues to invite a dangerous element here. And when they are people standing accused of hurting and abusing my own mother, hey, listen, my mom did methamphetamine, but I loved my mother. I also knew nobody influenced her. My mom made her own choices. I never blamed them. I think that drugs are people don't have drug problems, they have pain problems. I think that that applies to next door as well, but that does not give them license to do harm. It does not give them license to put others in jail, and it does not give them license to antagonize those who they have injured. Terry Bear needs to never come back in this park ever. Jana Worthen, same. Dan D'Amatos, are you kidding me? He literally has been convicted of abusing a vulnerable adult. Jana Worthen and Terry Bear stand accused. Now, Terry's responsibility was not as high as Jana's, I will admit that, but Terry is guilty for failing to protect my mother. She sat right there and let Jana did it, and then worse, she defended Jana and made excuses for the abhorrent behavior. Rosemary did the exact same thing. Rosemary promised me these people would not be back. Within about 2 days, you know, here they were. So much was left out. I mean, it was amusing to me. Rosemary's literally going to say, in all my 74 years, I've never heard language like that. Well, you know what? In all my 53, I've probably never seen the drugs that have gotten pumped through her house. Come on, the audacity. My entire family is here, what few is left of them, and they are heartbroken and they are angry. My father loved my mother. They were not married, but they were friends. Doris was her friend. Mary Jo was her friend.
All right, Ms. Harris, Ms. Harris, just take a few seconds here to sum it all up, okay?
Well, it comes down to this. They're completely drug addicted. If you read my statement, you will learn. This is nothing new. Rosemary has had problems with law and property management and other tenants accusing her of the same for probably the duration of the 20 years. You know, and again, this is all documented. I mean, they can shake their heads. Hey, if you want to, I don't mind you continuing this and reading through what is available would I have been able to enter? I don't know why Terry Bear claims that she lives next door. We have Terry Bear's physical address, and no, it's not Rosemary's. And how can I serve Rosemary? Why would I do it if they're I mean, this is just, it defies all logic that these women actually attempted this action and thought that all of this wasn't going to come out. So I thank them. I thank them for this.
All right, Ms. Harris, let's just stop there. This is starting to get a little bit repetitive now. Okay, I've heard what you had to say. All right. Yeah, this none of these cases of the three of them resulted in temporary orders being issued, and I think this is probably a pretty clear example of why it's important to hear from both sides before making any kind of a decision. In each of these three cases, there's no basis to issue an anti-harassment order. Miss Harris is obviously a passionate and animated person who's not afraid to speak her mind. I could imagine that her shouting at people or insulting them is not particularly fun or pleasant, but people being difficult and even unpleasant to their neighbors is not what anti-harassment orders are for. That's a different, when you say harassment in common everyday speech or conversation, it means a different thing than legal harassment. So in each case here, I do not find that harassment has been proved. In each case, there will continue to not be an order. So in each of your three cases, your petition for anti-harassment order against Ms. Harris will be denied.
Your Honor, can I say something?
You can say something, but keep in mind, I've already made my decision.
Yeah, I know you have. What happens after if the person seeks revenge on you when something bad happens?
Okay, that's not a question that I can answer.
Okay, thank you.
Your Honor, I'd just like to say I'm sorry that you are going to allow her to continue to bully me and everything else. And the next time she approaches me and hits me, I'll call the police. Because what she has stated about her mother, I loved her mother to death. She was jealous of our friendship. I'm not going to go into it any further. I just want to say thank you, Your Honor, for listening. And I'm sorry that you were bamboozled by her.
All right, that will conclude your hearings for today.
Thank you, Your
Good.
Honor.
Thank you.